to Gary's life. Gary is a bit awake but not too much. He's just staring at me like, what are you doing, Mom? What am I doing, Gary? You haven't been live for ages. Look at his little cute face. How are you, Gary? So I'm gonna check the live as usual. So as you can see, there is a new elements in Gary's tank, which is Gary's new house, but Gary is not really using the house at the moment. So I'm just gonna make you see. This is Gary's new house. It's a really cute house, but Gary is not really using his big house. He likes his spot too much. So sometimes I just wonder why I bought such a big house for Gary, because he's not using it. But we actually put the house like a week ago, so he's not really used to it yet. We just have to wait until he gets ready to go in, because maybe he's a bit scared of the house, I don't know. So he went in the house once. We actually spotted him going in, but that's it. Just one time. So we just have to wait and for him to be used to the big house that we put in. It's like a big change for him because we took out the big log that he liked to go on, but he can still go on his house. Like there is a big terrace for him, kind of. Isn't it, Gary? What are you doing? Where are you going, Gary? Where did you get the house? So it's in our Axolotl Facebook group. There is some people making houses from slate and granite. So it was a custom made house because all the house he made will not be like this. We specially added the little window for Gary because I know that Gary really likes to look outside when he's in his house, in his spot or something. He doesn't really like to be fully in the dark. This is how Gary is, but I know that other axolotls are not really like this. What happened to his tail? So Gary is born like this. He always had a crooked tail, so he's just how Gary is. Isn't he, Gary? Where are you going now? Where are you going? Oh, you're going on your house. Okay. You can. Come on. If you can. Go on. Oh, you don't want to. Okay, it's fine. You can go in this house. What kind of axolotl is that? It's a leucistic axolotl. He's pink with black eyes. Oh, Taco got a chameleon now. I like chameleon too. I like the little hands. I like how they grab things. Are you shy, Gary? It's been a long time since we did the live last time. Do axolotls jump out of their tank? Yes, they do. So that's why you have to have a lid on top. Yeah, I like leucistic axolotls just because of the dark eyes. They look like an anime pet. Like, really cute. Is it okay if they gloop air? Yes, it is. Gary would go up and gloop air from time to time. Not all the time. Like, it's been a long time since I actually spotted him do that. But they do. It's not uncommon. It's just normal. Sometimes they just like to gloop some air and stay at the top. Like, they fill their little lungs with air. So it will make them float. And they will stay like up. And when they have enough of floating, they just burp out the air and goes down again. It's okay, I didn't say the news yet. I'm waiting for people to come in, so I will tell you in maybe 5 minutes. Do you take him out of the water often? No, you can't take axolotls out of the water or they're gonna die, so don't do that. Is sand okay for substrate? Because I heard it can impact them and they will die. So only really fine and smooth sand, and not for babies axolotl. They have to be like 6 centimeter at least to be on sand. So sand okay for juvies and adult axolotls, but not for babies. Just wait until they are long enough, big enough to be on sand. Hello, Gary. Does Gary itch? I don't know what that means, but Gary dig in the sand, if it's what you mean. Do you think minnows can live with Gary? They will probably migrate and reach for him. So we can't put any other species than axolotls in Gary's tank, because if we add like fish, like minnows, they are producing a lot of waste and it's probably gonna like crash the cycle. And they also like to nibble on gills, so I don't want Gary to be hurt by the fish. So it's not a good idea to add anything other than axolotls in your tank. Axolotls are species only in their tank, so just add other axolotls and nothing else. No fish, no snail, nothing. What is his length? So Gary is 28 centimeters long. So he's a long boy. You're a long boy, Gary. Does he scratch? So no, Gary doesn't scratch really, unless he has something that bothers him, but otherwise no. I might cry because he's so cute. How long do axolotls usually live? So they can live up to 15 years old. So if you want to have an axolotl, you have to keep in mind that you will have to care for them for at least 10 to 15 years, which is really long. And it's good for us because we love Gary so much that we want him to be around for a long, long time. How long can an axolotl be out of the water before being uncomfortable? It's like being out of the water for an axolotl is stressful, so as soon as you take your axolotl out of the water, it's gonna be stressed. which is not good, isn't it, Gary? No, it's not a good thing. Hello, Gary. Yeah, I need to change the bot for Gary's bot for his age, because now Gary is 2 months and 9 months, not 4. So Gary is 2 years old and 9 months. Yes, you are, Gary. You're a big boy now. So Gary's birthday is actually in 3 months, and Gary will be 3 years old. Yeah. Already. It's been already almost 3 years since we got Gary. How often do you feed Gary? So we feed him once every 2 days. Not every day because Gary is already a chunk. Oh, Gary! Are you hungry? Are you hungry, my baby? Oh. We'll give Gary food in this life, so you won't be hungry for long, Gary, okay? Yeah? You won't be hungry for long. Which morph should I get? If you get an Axolotl, it just depends on your taste, really. Gary would be even cuter with tiny shoes, yes. Did Gary have good Easter? Gary didn't do anything special for Easter. He just had his usual food. We can't really give chocolate to Gary, so... So Gary is not a baby now. Gary is an adult already. They actually grow really quick. It took Gary like I think 9 to 10 months to be at this size. But now he's not like growing any bigger. Yeah, Gary did have Num Num for Easter, but nothing really unusual. It was just his usual food. How many kids do axolotls have? So they have hundreds and hundreds of them when they lay little eggs. Have Gary ever regenerated a limb? So Gary regenerated a finger. Just a finger. Yeah, Gary will always be our baby forever. Oh, you have a dark wild type. I like wild too, like especially when they have a little white part under the chin. I think this is really cute. Are you hungry, Gary? So, do you want me to give Gary Num Num or do you want the news first? So I see news, news, num num, num num, news, num num, news, num num, news. So it's like, how many news for how many num num? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Num news, you can't do that. Okay, I'm gonna do both at the same time. So I'm gonna have to wash my hands first. And while I'm gonna give food to Gary, I'm gonna tell you the news. Is that okay? So you will have the two at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna put some num num to Gary up here first. Oh, Gary knows. Gary saw me putting the num num up. Just wait, Gary. Just wait. Just wait a minute, Gary. Okay? I'm gonna wash my hand first. Okay? So I'm gonna wash my hands. I leave you with Gary's dad, and I will be back. So time to speak.
Hello. 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 I'm playing Dying Light, Gamma. I'm okay, Adibel. I'm okay. Hello, father of precious Gary. I'm surprised you can hear me. I'm like kind of far away.
Well, you have a big voice. You do have a big voice, so of course I'm gonna hear you. Oh, Gary, where did you go?
Oh, it's moving.
You moved. You can only see Gary's tail. Oh my god. So, I'm gonna put you here, if I can. Gary, can you go around at the back, please? I'm gonna try to like move Gary to go on the other side. Gary, can you move here? Can you move here? Come on, no, this is my head. Come on, Gary. Come on, good. Up. So, you're hungry, Gary? Good. So you could see that Gary was really quick. And I always lure him with my hand to turn or go wherever I want him to be. Are you hungry? One more? Are you finished? You got it? Oh, you missed it. So I'm gonna give you the news now. So a couple of months ago we got an offer from a live stream company for pets, and we are now working together to put up a permanent stream of Gary, so you will be able to watch Gary 24/7 every time you want.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Even Gary's dad doesn't know, because to be fair, I'm the one who's running Gary's channels and everything, so Gary's dad doesn't even know. But yes, now we're gonna set up the camera and everything for Gary, and you will be able to see Gary whenever you want, during the day or night, whatever. So if you feel bad, you just have to watch Gary and he will make you feel better. So that is the news, and I hope you are happy about it. I know that a lot of people can't really watch like the stream when we are doing it. So I think that was a really good idea to make sure that everyone could enjoy Gary and just looking at Gary just being Gary. Are you happy, Gary? People are gonna see you whenever they want. Good, Gary. You missed too. So I'm gonna take this. You still hungry, Gary? Yeah? One more? Yes, looks like you want more. Oh no, you turned. You turned. Good, Gary. Can I have this one, Gary? Yeah, thank you. Oh, you didn't do anything yet. Here you go. I gave you a lot, Gary. Are you sure you want more? So I think we're gonna be able to put the stream on, I guess, for next week. So I hope you are gonna be excited about it. You want more, Gary? Yeah? Good. Yeah, Gary's new house is like really big and really fancy. Would Gary like to be on some pictures for my Discord? Well, yes, of course. One more, Gary. Oh, you missed it completely. It's okay, I'm gonna give it back to you. Do you have enough, Gary? I can't give you too much. I'm not giving you this one, okay? Because I'm scared that you're eating too much. Okay, Gary? Do you want the book, Gary? Do you want the book? Oh, yeah, you want the... Oh, yeah, you want your book. Oh, you like the book way too much, Gary. You like the book way too much. I don't know why Gary loved the book so much. Do you want another book, Gary? Yeah? Last one, Gary, okay? Last book, huh? Good. Good, Gary. Oh, you like the book. Oh, you do like the book. Oh, you do like the book, Gary. Oh, yeah. Oh, you like the book. He's so cute. So I'm gonna wash my hands again and I will be back. I'm leaving you again with Gary's dad.
Hello again.
So I am back and I couldn't see your reaction to the news, so I'm gonna just go up the chat and check what you said because I can't really look at the chat and give Gary food at the same time. So you are mostly all happy about it. Yeah, I like the Pokemon Wooper. It really does look like an axolotl. Gary, what are you watching? What are you watching, Gary? What are you looking at? Is there anything that you don't like, Gary? Did Gary ever saw another axolotl? So no, I don't think so, because when we got Gary, he was a really tiny baby and he was on his own. And the other axolotls were already adults. He was the only baby one they had, so I don't think he ever saw any... Oh, where are you going, Gary? Gary's gonna group? No. He's just going in his paw. These paws don't look comfortable, Gary. What are you doing? Oh, Gary just group some air. Good, Gary. So see how he floats now because he got some air, so now he's floating. This is what happens when Gary just group the air and like stay with the air in his lung. He's struggling a bit. So you can see his little bum floating. Yes, Gary. So when he will have enough, he's just gonna burp the air and his bum is gonna go down. No, he's just chilling. It's just Gary being Gary. He's just vibing now. What are you doing, Gary? Oh, do you want to go in your house? Go in, yeah? Ooh, it's the first time I actually see Gary go in his house, so I'm happy. This is the first time Gary is going in his house, and we caught it live, so this is something. Are you happy with your house, Gary? Oh, I'm actually happy he's using it. We only saw him use this house once. So it's the second time that we spot Gary using his house, and it, like, we didn't even saw him enter the first time, so this is kind of special. Let's see if he's gonna use the little window. Yeah, Gary just moved in. So we are happy that Gary is using his house. How big is Gary's tank? So Gary is in a 50-gallon. It's around 190 liters. It's 120 centimeters long, 45 large, and 35 height. It's a really big tank just for one axolotl, but we always plan to get a friend to Gary, so that's why we got a really big tank just for Gary. I'm gonna put this thing here. Here you go. So Gary is already you can see Gary's bum in the window. Gary, don't show your bum to people like this. It's not good. Are you gonna stay in your house, Gary? I can see his little face in there. If you can see, Gary's in there. I can see you, Gary. I can see your little face. Yes. Welcome back, Gary. Welcome back. How is your house? Do you like it? Do you like your house, Gary? Yeah? It has a lot of space inside. Like you can't really, maybe if I go up, like you can see that the house is really kind of long. So Gary have all the space to go. He has a big terrace at the top for him to lay on and take the sun, even though there is no sun here. But he can just lay on the top of his house if he wants to. Isn't it, Gary? You're still floating. You didn't burp out the air yet. I see. Intense gaming in the background, yes. It's just Gary's dad like hitting some zombies. Will Gary food? We already got Gary some food. We already gave Gary food, so I can't give Gary too much. How does Gary feel after being incorporated into a French or Mexican? I don't really understand this question. Sorry for my bad understanding of English sometimes, but I don't really understand this question. Will Gary become a professional gamer by watching the intense gaming? He is already a professional gamer. Gary, are you watching? Are you looking for food? Really? I hope not. I just gave you food. Is his house the surprise? No, it's not. I actually told the surprise earlier in the stream. So the big news is that Gary is gonna have a 24/7 live stream, so you will be able to see Gary whenever you want. If you have a bad day, you can just go on Gary's YouTube channel and just watch him live, even though I don't think he's gonna do much, but it's always that. Seeing Gary's cuteness can cheer you up. Gary living his best life. I think so. I hope so. I hope that Gary has a good life. You have a good life, Gary? Gary, no. No eating sand. I just gave you food. Stop fooling people into thinking that I don't give you food. We just gave you food. They saw you. You can't lie, Gary. Yeah, this lion my thing was, or his gills, right? Yes. This is Gary's gills. This is how he breathes. He would just flick his gills from time to time to breathe, but he can just stay like this. It's okay. Gary, you still have your air bubble. I can see your bum. Are you gonna burp out your bubble, Gary? Are you just gonna stay with it? I've put some plants like at the front of Gary's house, and he's just looking at it right now. Yes, this is plants, Gary. I put another, but Gary uprooted it already, and the plant just floated away. So, isn't it, Gary? You like to uproot the plants I'm putting. You love that, don't you? Uprooting all the plants. Gluten-free zone. Gary will always like act like if starving. But we all know you are not, Gary. You can't fool us. Everybody just saw how much food I'm giving you, so. Everybody can see the big tummy you have, Gary. Yes, we can all see it. Poor Gary. Is Gary a boy? Yes. Gary is a big boy. Are you done, Gary? Are you done faking to starve? Yes. Good. I don't really like when he wants to eat sand. He is staring into our souls. Are you going, Gary? So even though we are gonna have a live 24/7, I'm gonna ask you if you still want to have one live a month, like maybe to be with other people watching Gary together. I know that it's something that you like. Hello, Gary. Where are you going, Gary? Don't go away. No. No. Gary, where are you going? Gary, it's still daytime. You should be sleeping right now, but you're not. We gave him food, so now he has a lot of energy to spend. Does Gary play that? He never did that. He's getting a bum massage from the bubbles. So his bum is floating. Oh my god, Gary. What? What is that? Gary, your bum is still floating. Okay, you're going back now. He really likes the bum massage. So this is actually normally buried under the sand, but Gary is passing over there so much that it's just uncovering the device. So Gary only lives underwater because he will not develop the salamander thing that's making him want to go on land. The other salamanders that go on land lose their gills and everything, develop their lungs and strength to actually crawl on land, but Gary won't do that. You're making too much noise. I'm scolding Gary's dad. I was scolding Gary's dad. Making too much noise with his keyboard. So, like I like how people are just coming in the live and just asking for the news because they weren't here at the beginning. So I'm gonna tell it again. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but it's for the new people who's coming in the live. So the big news is that we partnered with a live pet stream, and we are gonna be able to have Gary on live 24/7. So you will be able to watch Gary whenever you want. So this is the big news. So every time you feel down or you want to show Gary to someone, just go on Gary's YouTube channel and just watch him live whenever you want. That's it. That's the big news. But I think it's gonna make a lot of people happy because I know how you guys love Gary. And we can't really do streams all the time, so I think this was a really good option for us. Oh, Gary, you're moving a bit too quick. Gary loved the bubbles. I know that all axolotls don't love the bubbles, but Gary really does. Just look at him playing in the bubbles. He really liked that. So yes, I was asking you if you still want us to do one live a month, since we are gonna have Gary on live 24/7. I don't know if you still want to organize one live a month with Gary. I don't know if it's gonna be necessary. Axolotls are more active at night, right? How active is Gary in the night? So Gary will be way more active than what you are seeing now. During the night, he's like really excited and he can't stop moving and walking and running and swimming. So I guess thanks to the future live that we're gonna put, you're gonna be able to like see how he is during nighttime. But he's just gonna go like left and right, up and down all the time. Alors, j'ai pas compris c'est quoi la nouvelle. So I'm just gonna speak French for someone who doesn't understand what I said about the news. Alors, la grande nouvelle pour Gary, c'est que on va avoir un live de Gary 7 jours sur 7, 24 heures sur 24. Donc, vous pourrez voir Gary absolument quand vous voudrez. Vous pouvez juste venir sur le channel de Gary et le regarder à n'importe quelle heure, quand vous voulez. Voilà. Et on va mettre ça en place d'ici la semaine prochaine. Sorry for the French. It's okay. It's because like some French people are asking what's the news because they didn't really understood what I said, so I had to tell them the big news but in French. Would Gary like to eat at GFC? So I guess GFC is Gary fried chicken. So I guess Gary would love that. We are a fan of KFC too, so Gary can have his own food chain of Gary fried chicken. Can you say it in German? I cannot. I don't speak German. So what I feed Gary, so what you saw today was Gary's pellets. So it's carnivore pellets and Gary loves them really much. And you could see on other live that we give Gary dendrobina worms, but actually Gary doesn't like these worms anymore, so we changed back to the pellets, which he always liked. So we are gonna try worms again in maybe a couple of weeks because I know that Gary sometimes just don't like the worms. I don't know why. He likes his pellets more. But usually a staple food for axolotls are worms, dendrobina worms as we call them in England. And in the US it's called night crawlers. So it's a type of worm that axolotls really like. Does Gary like to eat fish? I never gave Gary any fish. I don't really like the idea of feeding Gary fish because I don't know, I find that fish are cute and I don't want to like put them to their death. It's just not what I feel comfortable doing, so. But Gary do have salmon. I like to, when I want salmon, I just treat myself some salmons and give some bits to Gary. What are the pink things on the side of Gary's head? So it's Gary's gills. It's how he breathes. Where did you get Gary from? We got Gary in a pet shop. It's nothing uncommon here. Like axolotls are legal here, so you can just have them in pet shops. Can Gary have a fan mail? So we actually thought about opening a PO box for Gary for his birthday. So I'm asking you if it's something you would want, if you want to send Gary a birthday card or something. I'm gonna do a poll maybe in the next weeks to see if you guys would be interested in that. How much does it cost to get an axolotl, including food, tank stuff for cycling, etc.? So our whole setting for Gary cost us around 1,000. So if you don't have the money to spend on all that, just don't get an axolotl, because it's really important for them to have a good environment. So save up to have everything ready for your axolotl, because if there is something missing, your axolotl is actually really gonna suffer from this. Like if you don't have a cycle tag, your axolotl is gonna die. Like I don't want to minimize this, because this happened too much, even though I'm always telling people that you have to cycle your tank all the time.
Sorry to interrupt. And keep the temperature
Yes, and
good,
have
stable.
the good temperature for an axolotl. Like you really need all of this to get your axolotl happy. You need to have a cycle tank, which it takes a lot of time and effort to cycle your tank, but once it's cycled, then it's okay. You don't have to do it again. So it's commitment at the beginning, and you have to have a water chiller. This is really essential, because even here in England, when it's not really that hot here, but like during summer, it's hell for an axolotl to be in a place where it's really cold. Axolotl should be kept in water between 16 and 18 degrees Celsius, and it's the really cold water, so you need this water chiller. It's really important. There is a lot of people who kept their axolotls and didn't have water chiller, or didn't really care about the temperature the axolotl should be, and they just died. So this is things that I'm really not happy with, because I know that like you all love Gary, and a lot of you thought about having an axolotl as pet because they are so cute and everything, but you have to keep in mind that there is a lot of work into having a pet, especially an axolotl, since they are already an endangered species. So you really have to be extra careful and give a lot of care to your axolotl. Sorry, sometimes I get passionate about axolotls and how to keep them, but it's like how, yeah, if you love your pet, I think you would want to have the best for them. So you have to do a lot of research, and you are actually like really lucky that we are here for new owners, because at the time when we just had Gary, I didn't really had all the informations about how to properly care for axolotls, because there is a lot of misinformation or a lot of different cares, because like the French care, the English care, and the US care is not the same, and I have to mix everything to make the best for Gary, and this is how I did. Like there is no proper like rules for keeping an axolotl, but you have to understand that you have to get what's the best for your axolotl, if it makes sense. Yeah, I remember you and like Gary the axolotl. I do remember you even have the little avatar. Can Gary have a friend? So yeah, we want to get a friend for Gary, but we actually are in lockdown in the UK, so we can't travel. So I guess when the lockdown is gonna be lifted, which is in late June, I think we're gonna begin to search for a friend for Gary. See you, Ace. Thank you for joining us today. So how does Gary talk to you? So Gary talk to you in a really specific way. Like I always talk to Gary, and sometimes I'm asking him question, and the answer Gary is giving me is how many times he flicks. Gary, it's my finger. It's how many times Gary flick his gills. So I'm gonna ask a question to Gary, and if he flicks one time, it means yes. If he flicks two times, it means no. And if it flicks one side or another, it means maybe. It's how I communicate with Gary. Gary, where are you going? Oh, you're still hungry. I gave you so much food. Can't give you more, Gary. You're gonna be sick if I give you too much. Desby! Gary, no! Stay with us. Stay with us, Gary. So you can see that I put the little Gary the snail on top of Gary's house. It's a little chimney, and we have to put an air pump in there, and there should be bubbles going out of this chimney, but we have to buy a new air pump, which we have to. Isn't it? I gave the task to Gary's dad, but he he is taking all his time. Can you do a Q&A?
This is a Q&A.
Yeah, it's kind of a Q&A, but like they say, about yourself. Like, this channel is about Gary, and it's not about myself, so I can only do a Q&A if it's about Gary. Can Gary have a play date with my Axel Diego? How do you want to do that? Have you ever caught Gary reading Newty magazine? I suspect that Gary is doing a lot of things when Gary's dad is sleeping, like playing his video games and watching the Newt magazine. Maybe, I don't know. I think he does that when we are asleep. Gary needs a boob, and we already give Gary 2 boobs today. We can't do more. What is Gary's favorite food? So I think Gary's favorite food like would be probably snacks or food like salmon. He really likes salmon and shrimp, but it's things that we don't give him often because it's only snacks, you know, and like salmon is really fat, so it's only for big occasions. Gary is adorable. Yes, Gary is always really cute. Sometimes when I feel that, I just have to look at Gary and I'm feeling better. Gary is vibing. So can you actually name your axolotl in Minecraft, like all of your axolotls? So, hello 6, and Gary's birthday is the 11th of July. So, what is Gary's second name, if he has one, of course? So we didn't really set on any second name, but for the vet, it's Gary Kelly, which, like, Kelly is the last name of Gary's dad, so I'm not really happy about this. I want Gary to have my name instead. Does Gary like sushi? So Gary will only have the top of the sushi with, which is salmon. So I would say he likes sashimi more than sushi, because sashimi is only the salmon. His second name is the Emperor of Cuteness. I like this one. Gary, no! No eating sand, okay? Is Gary more active than average axolotls? I don't really know. I'm not sure, because Gary is quite active for an axolotl during the day. That is kind of true. I know that some axolotls don't really like to swim or walk too, and they will stay all the time in their hide, but Gary is not really like that, so maybe Gary is a bit more active than an average axolotl, I would say. His middle name is Shall Be Booked. Is having two axolotls in one tank okay? So having two axolotls in one tank is okay as long as they are the same gender and the tank is big enough and you feed them enough. They are quite like okay with each other. They are not territorial species, so it's okay to have multiple axolotl in one tank as long as the tank is big enough and it's the same gender. Gary, remember sand may be delicious but not nutritious and definitely not part of a balanced breakfast. This is true, Gary. Don't eat sand. Gary's gonna become a Victoria's Secret supermodel. I wish. How can you check the gender of an axolotl? So axolotl's gender is like, you can see the bump on Gary's bum, like just behind his legs. If the bump is large and long, it means it's a male, and if the bump is small, it's a female. But the gender actually can appear in a male from 8 months to 18, so you have to wait until 18 months to be sure that your axolotl is either a female or a male. They all appear female before they actually develop the bump and become male, so you have to wait 18 months to be sure about the gender of your axolotl. Where can you get an axolotl? So you can get an axolotl in any pet shops here in the UK because they are legal. It's not like in the US, like where you have a lot of states that it's forbidden to have an axolotl. I don't know this game, Smith. Do you know this? The game Smith.
Smite.
Smite. I don't know this game. Hello, Gary. Gary is chilling now. Are you chilling, Gary? Yeah. You're chilling. I think Gary might be tired now that he swims and walks so much. Can other amphibians live in the same tank? No, they cannot because they don't require the same care. Does Gary know how many tickles it takes to make an octopus loss? Tentacles. I do get it though. What gender is Gary? Gary is a male.
Oh, Mooney.
What?
Does Gary know how many tickles it takes to make an octopus laugh?
Tentacles.
Tentacles.
I know, I already read it.
You said you don't understand.
I did. I said I understand.
Oh, I thought you said you don't understand.
No, I said I did. If you were to get an axolotl partner for Gary, what would be their name? So we already said that we want to have another axolotl friend for Gary, and it's probably gonna be another male, but we can only name an axolotl after seeing the axolotl, if it makes sense, like if the face matches the name. So we actually have to see the axolotl before naming it. Gary, stop eating that now. How long have you had Gary? So we had Gary for 2 years and we said 6 months. Gary is gonna be 3 years old really soon in July. Time is flying. What is Gary's favorite snack? I would say maybe bloodworms because he get really excited for the bloodworms. Does Gary like sports? I don't know. I actually don't know if Gary likes sports, but he likes to run at least. Gary is vibing now. It's just not doing much. Are you okay, Gary? You're good. Closer to Gary. Oh, thank you, Taco, for joining us today. Have fun with your little chameleon. Gary. So I guess we are going to go too. I hope you enjoyed the live, and I think we are still gonna continue to do one live a month, so you can all like enjoy being with Gary all together with other people that likes Gary. As usual, we are gonna do a poll to decide which weekend you want the live to be and which time. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed being with Gary and do you like the news that we got for you. We will be setting up the 24/7 live stream during next week, so I hope you will enjoy that. And we will see you in the next live, which is gonna be next month. Until next time, stay cute everyone. Bye bye. Say bye. No, you have to say it. You have to say bye.
Bye.
Bye everyone.